Hey everyone, welcome back to Howtechs. Today we're going to unbox this HP LaserJet Pro MFP M183fw high performance multi-purpose printer combo. So it has a color laser printer, it has a scanner, it obviously can copy, it can also do faxes, and I think most importantly the scanner has this sheet feeder which is super useful. So anyway, I'll kind of go into the details as I unbox it. So let's get going. The pink tape is, I think, from the guys that we bought it from. So that's not standard on everyone's. That's just something to show that it hasn't been tampered with, I guess. So anyway, this thing is also super heavy. I think it's somewhere around 20 something kilos. So it should be kind of heavy. So if you're not super strong, maybe get some help. Okay, first off, out of the box, we have a USB cable. That's a USB-A to USB-B, so old school one. That's obviously if you're going to directly connect it. If you don't have Wi-Fi, oh, I should also mention this is a Wi-Fi compatible printer, so you don't have to connect it directly up to anything except for the power by cable. Despite what it said in the online, it actually does come with a CD. So again, going really old school here. I guess there's always some case where there's someone out in the jungle somewhere where they can't download drivers, they don't have Wi-Fi, so they need a real cable. So this is all kind of throwback to, I don't know, the late 90s. And then obviously guaranteed. So this is the Asia version, so all my stuff is like in Bahasa Indonesian, and there's like Thai on the box as well, as you can see. So this is kind of their, at least for this part of the world, localization package. Here they go into some of the other details in the book. As you can see, there's a bunch of different models. Like there's the 185 and the 182, and some of them have the document feeder and some of them don't. So anyway, we'll skip that as always. Here's the important one. You can't see very well, but on the top here it has some instructions on the proper way to take this out. But we have to get the rest of the stuff out of the top first. Okay, here we go, the good stuff. Here is our British plug. So that works in obviously Hong Kong, Singapore, other parts of Malaysia, I think. So yeah, you can see it's like the square one. Okay, so that's the one we're going to use here. But just in case you're in a different market, they also have your US style plug with the 3 prongs. So that won't work in some countries because they only use 2. I think like in China, they don't use the 3rd one. In Japan, they don't use the 3rd one. And then here we go for, I guess that's for Indonesia. That's your like French style. I don't even know what that is. That's not French style. But this they also use in Korea as well. So you're covered. And last but not least, we have one more, and that is the phone cable. Yeah, the good old school fax connector. So again, if you still need that, you have other problems. Okay, so now according to this little instruction sheet, we have to tip it over and then pull it out by the plastic. So let's go this way. Try not to destroy anything. And it literally says just like grab it by this plastic piece. I guess I can take that out. There's actually a plastic bag that wraps in here. Let's actually show you. So here we go. Now we gotta yank it and jiggle it. So I guess this is a case where having multiple people helping would be good. Okay, here we go. Starting to come out. Okay, that was kind of a pain in the butt. Okay, so now I gotta get the styrofoam off. Okay, it is. Okay, as you can see, it has a whole bunch of tape keeping it closed, so you got to get all this off in the right order. So, for example, this one wraps around the bottom, but you can't take this one off till you take that one off. And this is just to keep everything from coming apart in the box on the way here. Okay, did we get everything? I think we got it all. So anyway, yeah, as you can see, this is pretty standard if you've ever seen these HP guys. So here's your scanner. This is your document feeder for the scanner. It should pop open like here if you ever get a paper jam. What else in the back? If you also get a paper jam back here, you can yank it out. This is always a bad one. Here's the paper tray. As you can see, you have the adjustment in here depending on what size paper you're putting in. It also can extend, so if you're putting in like legal size. So in that case, it actually sticks out, which to me is super awkward. It used to be on the older HP printers, there was like a separate paper tray which would come out all the time, and then if you extend it, obviously extend further. They're trying to keep it more, I don't know, streamlined like this, but in this case it's actually worse. So I don't know if that's really a good design or not. I guess not. But yeah, I guess it looks nicer when it's like this. What else? There's a piece of film covering your HP logo, just in case. This is for the output tray. So when you have, the output of the printer, it comes out here, and you can flip this up to keep the sheets from falling off if you're doing a lot of printing. I believe you can fit 150 pages in here and 100 pages in here. So if you're going to totally empty this out, you better pick out the pages before it overflows. Anything else worth noting? Obviously the scanning documents go in here. I think this one will take 50 pages at once, which is super useful. As I mentioned, if you ever have to scan like 30 pages at once, taking them apart, sticking in the scanner, scan, take it out, etc., etc. It's like such a pain. But if you can do it automatically with one of these, much better, which is why we actually picked this one out instead of the slightly cheaper one. Other things than that, there's also this. This is the blocker. So if you are scanning like 50 pages, they'll stop here. I don't think it really spits it out that hard that you have to worry about that. But just in case, I guess if you have like legal size paper, maybe you need it. I don't know. Here on our control panel, it's a little bit different than the other recent HP ones. So for example, my previous HP printer, this was actually a touch screen. So it was like a color LCD touch screen. Now it's just straight up a number pad. So it's kind of a regression. Maybe they figured out this is actually better. It has all the same little controls like copy, color copy, adjust the brightness, do the setup, actually do the phone call, so for your fax machine parts, and also turning off Wi-Fi. So between that and the low-res display here, I guess you can probably do almost everything anyway. So yeah, that's it. And the other thing is it doesn't move, whereas in some of the other ones it would flip up, which was good for like keeping it out of the way. Last but not least, you got your power button here, and actually this whole front face opens up to get to the toner. And as you can see, as I push it all the way down, the toner cartridge actually pops up a little bit, and this whole thing slides out, and you can see your four, your basically black, cyan, magenta, and yellow cartridges here. So here is the real heart and also the real money behind this thing. So to wrap up here, let me talk about that ink in a bit of economic terms. So this printer goes for about $300, give or take, depending on where you buy it. Here in Hong Kong, it was like $350, but in other countries, it's as cheap as like $310 or $320. To buy replacement official HP ink cartridges, these things go for about $55 each, plus tax. That means to buy all four replacements, even though the replacement ones are a little bit bigger than these initial ones, is something like $200, $220 plus tax. So in this case, let's say 2 or 3 years from now, if I don't use this printer that much, but I eventually run out of ink, is it worth it to spend $220 to replace them all? Is this thing going to last another year or two after that, or is it going to break? So before you replace the ink, you might actually want to check what's the cost of a new printer. The price of this thing might have dropped significantly in the next 2 or 3 years, or you can get an equivalent one for almost the same price as replacing these. So the real problem here is that HP charges way too much for these cartridges. It's almost like they're charging you for these and they're giving you this for almost free. But that's always a scam. It's even worse with the inkjet printers, I think. At least this one is a laser and it lasts decently long and the ink doesn't dry out. But yeah, that's always the scam. And of course, you're always faced with the option of getting unofficial, bootleg toner. There's some problems with these things rejecting non-correctly chipped replacement cartridges. I think I've read for some models, there's a setting you can put in to actually disable that. But otherwise, the default is only accept official HP cartridges, which is, of course, exactly what they want you to do. But too many people complain, so they had to make a way to turn that off. I don't know. Okay, so anyway, that's it for today. That's the Color LaserJet Pro MFP M183fw. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you would like me to do a how-to video, say for example how to change the ink cartridges, how to clear a paper jam, how to set up the Wi-Fi, etc., we always love doing those. And since this one is going to stay, we can always come back and do it again. So do let us know. Okay, bye. The card is here on the bottom right, and there's also a very small notch here on the bottom right as well. You guys can see that. There's also